Hi guys, this is Breaker, and I think I've saved the best for last. We're going to find out just how this game goes. I won't give away too much, but I believe this replay, simply due to its file size, is the is the longest one in the folder of replays that I was given, and it's the final replay that I'm going to be casting altogether. You know, this is the last of the replay pack that I got from Tydrokos on TeamSpeak. So let's give a, here's a huge shout out to Tydrokos, bro. You know what? I want to thank you for helping me out. Thank you for giving me feedback on my casting and so on and so forth. But let me go ahead and get on with this cast and introduce both sides of the map. I'm not too familiar with who this guy is, but he belongs to the TKS clan. And this is not my first time casting anyone from the TKS clan. I'm sorry, I did just have to kind of hold back a belch for just a moment. I'm going to introduce him as TKS KsJig. I'm guessing the KS stands for whatever team name, and the T just stands for team. And in the upper right hand corner, there's no introduction I can give him that really does him enough justice. It's none other than eXeA's very own eXeA Dire Straits. Y'a tu bin des spots, GM? Je sais pas. Je t'en ai entre masques. J'ai l'air bad. I'm not entirely sure what that means. Oh boy, here we go. I will never try to read this funny talk that people call French again. Tu dois pas être loin. Okay, you must not be loin. Loin. And he says, surely. That's the only thing I caught out of that. Now, one thing I want to point out right now is that Dire's actually going for, I want to say, a bit of his iconic-ish Speedling opener. But, this is... but I mean, the thing that we saw from KsJig is basically a macro-oriented opening. He went hatch first, if I'm not mistaken. There it is. Going to finish before the pool. And, ooh, it looks like he made a small mistake. He actually thought he had 3 drones on gas. He may still be thinking that. I'm not entirely sure what's taking him so long to actually put his attention back to his main mineral line. But for now, his gas income is slowing him. It's going to make him suffer just a little bit more. And he's not going to have enough gas for metabolic boost once the evolution chamber finishes up. But we already have 4 lings out on the map, out of the main for Dire Strait. And it looks like we've got 4 on the way, 4 more on the way from Dire, and a total of 6 on the way from KsJig. And he finally corrected his mistake, but keep in mind, mistakes are what make a game these days. Oh my god, not again. I'm sorry, mistakes are what make a game these days, and mistakes are what make casters really bad casters. Okay, so here we go. Ling's trying to chase down 1 drone. Don't get it. And Dire's metabolic boost will be finishing at about roughly 10 seconds. And what's really bad about this is KsJig's own metabolic boost has only gotten started. So we see we see like a full minute at the very least where KsJig will not have metabolic boost. This gives Dire all the time in the world to harass the natural, get in and get out as he pleases, but Dire is actually completely oblivious as to just when his opponent's metabolic boost could be finishing. For all he knows, it could actually be in the near future, and KsJig's pulling down a spine crawler and trying to engage what Dire has here with just a few slow lings, maybe half of the actual lings that Dire has, and 2 queens. Behind this, we have more lings out and more in production from KsJig, and I want to say the micro, no matter how good it is for Dire, he's still getting a couple of queens. But he did some pretty okay damage there. The production of KsJig is actually going to suffer. And Dire is actually getting a huge bonus by... If he can get this overload, that would be an even bigger bonus, putting him in the lead so far. Just putting him so much further ahead, KsJig. Of course, KsJig trying to pull out another queen. Metabolic boost is about 13-ish seconds away from finishing. And KsJig actually has a defensive Baneling nest up, while Dire Straits is only just now getting his right here. And, whoa, I'm sorry, I misclicked and I got the evolution chamber. The evolution chamber. The question is, what are we going to see first? Missile attacks or Carapace going down? I'm thinking that by the time it finishes, there will be enough gas to actually go for Carapace. And Metabolic Boost did just finish for KsJig. He's throwing down a couple of forward-located Banelings. He's got 3 back at home for defense. They could be spread out just a little bit better to be optimized for defending against a huge thing run by. And of course, we have the Massacre on the unbuildable rocks. That's just, I don't know what the word is. It's easy to misclick those. I guess that's the whole reason why. But what did they ever do to you in the beginning, guys? Come on. Why do you have to go through and kill them? Looks like Dyer got a free... Oh, no, I'm sorry. KsJig got a free Baneling kill there. Maybe Dyer did. I wasn't keeping track. I apologize, guys. Okay, and I'm trying to keep myself from sneezing right now. I have a finger under my nose. It's a little too much information. But here we go. You know, this is actually a beautiful concave from KsJig, but the Banelings are gonna scare away the Lings, and Dire Strait's own Ling forces are going to get a few stragglers that get kind of pulled back a little bit late, if not pulled back in a bad position. And meanwhile, we have Dire attacking on more Banelings. He's getting ready to go in for an offensive. He's sending up these two for now, sort of. And the Spine Color for KsJig is actually being moved forward a little bit more. And we see Dire is really adding on the pressure. Neither player is actually tacking on drones, excuse me, droning up behind this. And the Baneling over here from Dire comes in and connects with nothing. Meanwhile, Dire actually has no Banelings left over for his offensive. This could actually be quite bad for him. But he actually managed to waste 2 Banelings at the cost of 3 Lings. That's super effective. Wild Zergling used Suicide. Enemy Baneling fainted. Critical hit. Sorry, Pokemon narration. It doesn't really work that well for me. But behind this, we have KsJig actually throwing up his Spire first. And here it is. Zerg melee attacks was actually Dire's first choice on the Evolution Chamber. And now we have, I'm sorry, some kind of damage going down. Of course, Dire Strait's trying to break this down to make it his 4th. He's really going to have to try and get some anti-air out ASAP. He's going to have to read into KsJig as well. Like the Spire's about halfway done for him, and even halfway done at the same time that your own Spire is going down is quite a critical timing. And, oh, what is this? The 3rd has been spotted by KsJig. And what about Dire? Does he know about that? Well, Dire's own 3rd is actually a little bit further ahead. The only real problem with it is it's going to be completely bare and exposed to the mutas when they come out. Now, for those of you who don't know the muta sky control game, oh, and this is actually quite critical. There's a lot of Banelings building up over here. Dire is actually looking to throw away some of his own. Is this a misclick? They are perfectly spread out, but Dire is not quite paying attention to what's going on here. This is actually quite dangerous. The 3rd looks like it's about to get into a big hunk of trouble. But there's only a handful of drones here to kill. Not too many are going to be destroyed in the process. Spine Crawlers are being thrown down all but too late, and defensive Banelings are now going up for Dire Strait. Dire, of course, taking his, what's the word I'm looking for? Infestation Pit right now. And the 3rd is going to fall almost without any contest. You know, we have the Banelings now coming in from KsJig. None of them get into the main, but the Naturals drone line is kind of in some danger. 3 drones fall, bringing the total drone kills to 9 for KsJig. And behind this, we have a total of 7 mutas in production for KsJig. The question is, will the Infestors be out to defend in time? You know, we're going to have to see some meticulously careful, if not altogether beautiful Infestor control. And Dire pulls back his Lings just in time. He's trying to waste some to get rid of Banelings, and he doesn't get a single one of them. Dire, if he's paying attention to this Overlord, will see that there are now mutas out on the map. And in response, we should see Infestors in production. We do. There are 4 right now, and he's going to have to be, again, meticulously careful about how he uses his Infestors. Now, Infestors coupled with the new Spore Crawler would be, you know, just deadly. I can't think of a muta getting away from a Spore Crawler and a Fungal Growth alive. That's got to be basically an insta-kill. Dire Strait's 3rd is now under siege. He's gonna, I guess, just kind of stall for time and then cancel it. You know, he's got no choice, basically. He's got no way to hold it presently. But, oh, the Infestors are just out of fungal range of the muta. The muta saw them, and now they're spreading out. And 4 Infestors versus this many mutas spread out. You know, there's just not enough fungals to kill them all. So there it is, the cancel from Dire. how's he going to follow this up? I mean, he could burrow some infestors, and that's exactly what we see here in the production tab. +2 on the way for Dire as well. There would be +2 Carapace, and now all these Lings from Dire. God, he's down so much further than his opponent, but all it takes is one mistake from KsJig, and he could lose all those mutas. They just grouped up like that. Boom. A majority of them. But here we go. There are now 5 infestors at the natural, 2 more in production. And they're trying to fly into the main and get some drone kills. Will they? No. They backed out at the last second. And now Dire's finally trying to get his third yet again. One thing that he could do is maybe float an Overlord over here and have it start spreading creep. Throw down a Spore Crawler or 2. But for now, he's really using his infestors to try and deal with mutas. Not the, you know, it's a good idea, I think. But at the same time, he has to be, again, meticulously careful with what he's doing. He's forced to lose his third hatch for the 3rd time, and now we have the 4th going down for KsJig. What do we have as a kind of follow-up from Dire? KsJig is perfectly aware that he's actually got infestors. That's why he's spreading his units whenever he goes into something. And now we have, you know, Dire Strait is actually not on too much of a narrow supply. What's the word I'm looking for? He's actually not too far behind in supply for KsJig. So if he tries to opt for an all-in right now, he's just going to have to be extremely careful with how he uses his fungals. And these are some beautiful fungals. And there are only 4 Hydras to combat all these mutas. The main concern of these infestors is just getting the fungal growth off, and now they are burrowed, so they're perfectly safe once they get the fungals out. And now these Hydras, my god, you know, they've just made such short work of those mutas, and Dire has actually elected to go for this more defensive third, if you will. Lings and Banelings are now coming in to kind of try and deal with what Dire has. Let's just see where these Lings are headed. They're actually headed over in this direction. Perhaps KsJig is thinking that Dire Strait is now double expanding to make up for the mistakes that he's made. And behind this we see that KsJig is actually opting to throw away some Lings to try and get an infestor kill. Almost came to getting one. And then, you know, at this stage, infestors are the one thing that can save Dire. They're the one thing that can turn the game around. KsJig is still actually only on 3 active bases if you want to look at it from a technical perspective. And speaking of 3 bases, we have the 3rd under attack from KsJig, and this Overlord was taken down. KsJig is actually, oh no, oh this is deadly. He's actually opting to get some ultras out, but I wonder, you know, if Dire sees this, how will he react? I know, you know, I think maybe Locusts would actually be a good choice for him to go for. Bear in mind that I believe he did research +1 melee attacks earlier, so that's not going to help out the Locusts all that much, to the best of my knowledge. He's got +2 Carapace for every other unit, and now Dire Strait is moving out. We have 6 Overlords, or excuse me, 6 Ultralisks in production. Ling's trying to make a run by here, and we have Dire opting to take us 4th at the same time. All of these Lings are out over here, and it's going to take some beautiful fungal growth to really keep everything alive here from Dire Strait. There's so many Banelings here. Just look at the connections. I don't know if he's going to be able to make it past this. He's pulling back his own Lings into the fight. And it takes 2 Banelings to kill a single Ling now, because these Lings are now +2/+2, and the surviving Lings are going to try and make a run by happen at the 3rd base. But if they're lucky, they're going to get a queen kill. That's exactly what they've clicked down. And now there's some Ultralisks here. The Lings are actually doing pretty okay at keeping them from reaching the Hydras. But of course, the Hydras just do flat out 40 damage now, so it's going to take a lot of luck for Dire to hold against this. He's reinforcing this with infestors. I can't help but wonder just how exactly would Swarm Hosts perform against these. Alright, and now we see KsJig immediately retaliating. Dire Strait is 124 supply up against 147. He actually conducted a little burrow maneuver, a little burrow run by, if you will, at the 3rd. He took down an Ultralisk with it. That's actually pretty good. But here we go. The Ultra's trying to run into the natural. There's just too much of a wall here. And we have infested Terrans going down left and right. And Dire is now 95 supply to the 140 of KsJig. Hydras are spawning, trying their best to take down these Ultras. Infestors are coming out as well. These Infestors are coming back home. Maybe they will be able to put a little bit of a stop to the Ultralisks. But no, the natural falls. And now we have to see Dire basically pull all of his drones and put them on a new base. We have essentially even-ish incomes from both sides, and Dire manages to hold. The Ultras pull back, but it looks like they're actually going for the 4th base of Dire Strait. It looks like, I think Dire is just going to end up losing this. There's no other way. There's no way you can possibly defend this, especially with the Lings coming in for this round. The Ultralisk coming in to really add in the damage. He says, "Good game, man. Bien joué." And my French is a little decrepit. Just go ahead and click on that subscribe button, guys. It should have been blinking the entire cast that I was doing. So thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you guys next time. I'm going to go to the front page of drop.sc to find something to cast.